All right, so we are officially live here and on Instagram, and I just want to thank you for joining me for my very first ever Timeline Tuesday. Bear with me, I'm just going to adjust my camera just a little bit. Okay, great. So this is Timeline Tuesday, and what that means is it's all about you being on your highest, most light-filled timeline. And I thought I'd do this video starting today because of the fact that tomorrow is a full moon. If you live in the United States, anywhere from here to the East Coast, you'll be experiencing the full moon on the 20th. If you live in the UK, the full moon is on the 21st, so you can watch this video then. And this video is really all about you stepping forward into your highest, most light-filled potential. So I made myself a few notes because this is really important. And go ahead and like this video, share this video with your friends, because we're really talking about you stepping up into your highest timeline and using this full moon energy in order to do so. Now, this particular full moon is in 0 degrees of Libra, and that means new beginnings. I always think of 0 like as in new beginnings. And you might be getting some new beginnings in relationship. You might be getting new beginnings in finances or houses or all of the above. So whatever your new beginnings are or wherever your new beginnings are, this is truly an opportunity for you to almost be pulled forward into your highest potential, because now's really the time for that. So how do you do that? How do you get pulled forward and use that energy? Hey, Mary Kate, how's it going? Hey, Kristen, how are you, beautiful? How do you do that? Well, there's 3 things that I would love to share with you today, that when I'm jumping in a timeline, when I'm going for that next potential timeline, there's 3 things that I love to tap into. So the first one is really taking a look and seeing what's out of alignment in your life right now, and really taking an honest look, because here's the thing, you and I both know you have done so much growing, so much vibrational upshifting, so much expanding spiritually, that your vibration's up here, okay? But your physical stuff, your physical world is still kind of lingering down here. So there's this gap in between where your physical reality actually, some of it may need to go away or dissolve or be dismantled in some form in order for you to meet up vibrationally with your new physical reality. Does that make sense, guys? So pop a comment in and let me know if that makes sense to you. So you might actually have to do some unbuilding or uncreating, as I like to call it, decreating, in order for your newer potential reality to show up. So here's an example of that in my life, is that I live in this great place here in Hawaii. It's a condo that I rent, and I literally had to ask the universe. I had to say, hey, universe, you know, it's time for something different. And within 24 hours of me saying, hey, universe, it's time for something different, I got a note from the owners of this place that said, oh, hey, we're putting our house on the market. So literally, I have to uncreate this living situation in order to recreate something new for myself. So that's really the first key, is looking and seeing what's no longer in alignment. Now, here's another place this could be happening for you, is in your business. If you have a business or a job, it might be out of alignment for you right now. And if it is, that's okay. You're right on track. You're exactly where you want to be. I had someone just reach out to me just today, and she said, oh my gosh, Alyssa, all of these things that I've been doing haven't worked for me. They've really worked so well for me in the past, but just this last couple months, it all started not to work. So if you can relate to that, if it's feeling like the old stuff that you've always been doing isn't working anymore, pop a comment in and just let me know. Because now is really the time when the old way isn't the new way. We're in such a newer energy now. We're in such a newer place of energy. It's a faster, quicker, more streamlined energy. And so when we do things in that old way, oftentimes it'll fall apart and won't work. Wani, hey Wani. Wani says, damn, I don't know anyone else who quickly manifests as you do. Could you please enlighten us how to arrive at this point? Yeah, Wani, I'll absolutely talk about that. By the way, if you guys have other questions that you want me to address on Timeline Tuesdays, please pop a comment in, whether you're watching now or on the replay now. Pop a comment in because I'm going to be addressing your questions on Timeline Tuesdays. So back to letting go of the old, what happened for me is I was going through the motions the last 8 months of my business, and I was doing a lot of things in the old way, and that old energy just wasn't working. So if that's happening for you, if that's what's going on with you, just know that that is so right where you're supposed to be, and all that you need to do is realign. Okay, so that's the next step. Step number 2 is open to your true potential. And you do that by actually asking yourself, what is that even? Because here's what happened for me, okay? So see if you can relate with this. I had an old timeline that was still playing out in my mind. I had gotten the vision and the download of all of that. But because of all the spiritual work I've been doing, and because of all the growth and expansion that we've all been going through, all the upgrades and uploads and downloads, and you've been feeling it, I know, if you've been walking this path with me and going through this with us all, you've been feeling that just kind of unearthing of this new you, right? Well, all of a sudden, probably all of these old dreams and hopes and goals that you've had in mind for yourself are no longer in alignment. So literally, I had to do something which was very scary for me. It was a total realignment. So here's what I did. I liken it to working on your house. And sometimes when you work on your house, you can fix a couple things and that's fine. But sometimes you have to turn off the power, and sometimes you have to stop the water from coming in. You have to actually shut it off at the source in order for you to replace a whole bunch of stuff. So that's what I had to do. I literally had to stop the machine, stop the business machine for a while, and really focus and get very clear on what my new expanded mission is, what my new potential was. And once I knew what that mission was and got really aligned with it, and how I got aligned with it was I asked for guidance, I asked for the vision to come in, and it's as simple as that, really. Ask yourself, ask your higher self, ask your I am presence in here. Say, self, show me my truest, highest potential. Show me what that is, so clear that there's no way I can miss it. Okay, so just ask and you'll be shown, without a shadow of a doubt, you'll be shown exactly what your mission and your purpose is. All you have to do is ask. It's a new, faster energy. Really want you to get that. It's a newer, faster energy, and it can come in just as quickly as that. So ask and you'll see what that is. And then how do you realign to it? Well, again, you have to sometimes uncreate certain things. So you might have to set a couple of things down that you've been doing or that you wanted to do. You might have to set a couple of projects down in order to focus your energy on the new expanded potential of you. Because that's what this time's really about. It's about your expanded potential. And it's about what I would call your highest timeline. It's about you really stepping up into that without fear, without old programming, without all of the stuff that you have been doing the beautiful work of letting go of. And I suspect about you that this last 2 years has been about letting go of all of this old programming, all of these old ways of being that were based in fear and doubt and lack and all of that stuff, right? So if that's been you, pop a comment, let me know, because I suspect that it is. And so you've done the work now. You've excavated all of that from yourself, and you actually don't hold that in your frequency anymore. And so now's the time to just really realign. And interestingly enough, when you do that, what probably will happen is this third step that comes up is the old stuff, the old program will come up again to make sure that you're cleared from it. So what that looks like is, let's say you're in a relationship, okay? And let's say in this relationship, there's this pattern that keeps happening over and over and over again. And maybe it's a codependency relationship, or maybe it's where you're trying to fix your partner. Whatever that thing is that keeps popping up, the old you would have handled it a certain way. But the new you that doesn't have to fix anything, the new you that is not coming from fear and lack and doubt, the new you that's coming from this place of being really whole and complete is going to be able to handle this in a really different way now. It might be a money program. So for example, I have a money program that just recently came up for me, and it's a program of not having enough. And so when I ran into that old money program, I could approach it from the way that I've always approached it, or I could do something totally different. I could do something completely different, take a completely different action around that, and actually believe that I can create for myself. So I actually had two, and I'm going to share this story with you. So I had two things come up for me this last week, and the program was, I don't have enough, and I won't be able to create for myself. Even though Wani said, oh, you're a really good manifester. I want to manifest like that. Show us how. I have this thought or belief that comes up every time, this nervousness, this, will I be able to do it again? Yeah, I've done it before, but can I do it again? And so that came up for me. And here's the secret, okay? Here's what's going to be different for you this time, is when that old program comes up, you are so different now that here's my prediction for you is it's going to come up and you're going to be able to look at it and go, yeah, I can see where that was an old fear. I can see where that was something that I used to struggle with, and it'll be really easy for you and just kind of melt like butter. Literally melt like butter right before your eyes when you bring the consciousness to it. So what I did is when that fear came up of, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this for myself. Okay, so I had gotten the news that my house that I'm living in is selling. And then I just said, well, here's universe, here's what I want. Here's what I'm really clear on. Here's what I want. I want a 3-bedroom house with plenty of privacy, plenty of space, all of that stuff. And literally that night, as I proclaimed it with a girlfriend of mine out on the golf course. I was just sitting out on the golf course. And that night I went for a walk, and I'm walking around my condo complex, and a realtor who lives here on property came up and said, oh, Alyssa, I was thinking of you, and there's a person here who wants to rent long-term their condo, but the only problem is it's 3 bedrooms. And the only other problem is it's not available until happens to be around the time that I'm moving out of here. So it's funny how quickly we can create. But what I'm saying is my fear of not being able to create came up again. And I was so worried and so nervous that I wouldn't be able to do it. And what I want to share with you is that it's okay if your fear comes up. What I want to remind you of is that you are in a newer, faster energy. This is the 5th moon of this newer, faster energy. So tomorrow, and it's really a culmination of energy, and I'm calling it pushing you forward into your highest potential. It's really pushing you into a place. And I'm here today specifically to remind you that you can go for it. And I'm not sure, should I should on you a little bit? I might should on you. You should go for it. If your soul is calling you to do something, if your soul is saying, hey, this is really for you, then it's time to align with that. So here's a couple questions for you to get really clear on. And tomorrow I have a call, we'll go into this super in depth. But here's 2 questions for you that you can ask yourself just to help yourself get really clear. So ask, what is it in this new energy that I desire to create for myself? What is it in this new energy that I'm in, that you're in, that you desire to create for yourself? Because I almost guarantee you that it's different from even what you thought you wanted to create for yourself even 6 months ago. For sure, it's different than what you wanted to create for yourself 2 years ago. I know it is for me. It's changed. It might be subtle. It might even just be the way or the angle in which you're going for something, but I guarantee it's changed. So ask yourself, from this new energy that I'm currently in, after all the work I've done, what is it that I wish to create for myself? And then once you've asked that question, ask yourself, what do I want to experience? What is it that my soul, myself, my physical being wants to actually experience and embody? For some of you, that might be a really healthy physical body. For others of you, that might be living in an exotic location. And some of you, that might be having a certain level of service in your business. For me, I'll give you a personal story. One of the things when I started out in business, I got confused and I sort of got sidetracked with what I call fool's gold. And fool's gold is chasing the money and chasing the dollar figure. And what I found is that yes, I could go after that fool's gold, and I did get it, that dollar figure, and I learned to do that, and that's great. But instead, what I learned along the way is it was more about the service that I could provide. It was about how many lives could I touch? How many people could I impact in that day? So for me, it's no longer about the dollar amount. It's more about how many lives can I touch? And that's one of the things, the lessons that I've really learned this last year is the projects that are misaligned. If I'm not touching a lot of lives, those projects typically tend to fall apart very quickly on me. And it was really interesting. So this month I was supposed to do a couple of small group programs, and that for whatever reason, that the energy just wasn't there. It didn't happen. And the minute I aligned into a higher, bigger potential reality stream, okay, all of a sudden I started getting sponsors and people coming out of the woodworks to support and saying, hey, we want to co-sponsor this event with you. And oh, hey, we want to pick up half the cost of this for you. And oh, hey, can we promote this for you? So do you see how it is when you start to align with your true new potential? It really starts to be and feel different. So I'd love for you guys to pop some comments in. I'm gonna actually tune in to the comments here. Kimberly said, it may not be entirely different, but definitely augmented and the nuances are more refined. Yeah, absolutely, Kimberly, that's so true. And you know, it doesn't have to be totally aligned, but typically it's a little energy alignment. Just mine was a little energy tweak. It was less about the money and more about the impact to be making. Mine was a little bit of messaging too. I had to go back to my messaging. I'm still serving the same people, but my messaging has changed, and that's different. So for you who are here today, I'd love for you to ask your questions. I'll be sure to tune in later and answer them personally. And if you have a question about manifesting or your timelines or your destiny path or the energy that's happening on the planet right now, I'd love for you to just pop a question in and I'll answer them in future live streams for you. Again, we're gonna do this every Tuesday. It's Timeline Tuesdays. And if you're free, I'd love for you to hang out with me because I'll be doing it. I'll be here every Tuesday. And so if you're free, I'd love to have you join me and just hang out and have a chat, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna have to be super tech savvy and try to end both of these live streams at once. So wish me luck on, wish me luck on doing that, guys. But for now, I just want to thank you so much for being here. I want to remind you that you are a piece of the divine. You get the privilege of creating whatever you want, and you have so many choices in front of you, and sometimes that can be really overwhelming, and sometimes you can feel like you don't have choices, but you actually really do. And now is the energy's there to support you on your highest destiny path. So I just want to be the one here holding the vision for you, reminding you, you can do this. You have the strength. You have come so far in your life, and now is really the time to go for it. Ride the wave. This is a beautiful energy wave that's coming. This next couple days, you're going to really feel it. It's going to feel like there's a lot going on. I won't lie to you. There's going to feel like there's a lot going on. But I know you're strong. I know you'll get through it. And I believe that you are going to make a beautiful jump into your highest timeline, because let's face it, you're awesome. You're amazing, and you know that. All right, well, I love you. Like this video, share it, tag somebody who needs to be reminded of their greatness, because you are great. So go out, be your divine self, create something new for yourself today, because now is your time to shine like the divine piece of light that you are. Okay, I love you. Wish me luck ending these live streams at the same time. I'm not sure I'll get it, but be here with me next Tuesday if you're free, because I'll be here, and I'd love to have you join me. Okay, bye for now.